Hello, it's Gabby here for you. Before we jump onto this week's podcast, I just want to let you know about 2 ways that you can work with me. First of all, I do one-to-one coaching and I do that via Zoom, so we can jump on a Zoom call at a time to suit you. The second thing I've got for you is an online coaching course that's 12 modules that you can download straight away now. There will be a link somewhere around these podcast notes. And this is the course that I've designed, and it's got everything in it that I wish I'd have known when I finished cancer treatment and I was lost. So you can download that course now and you can start working towards making this your happiest and healthiest year ever. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello there, it's Gabby here from Confidence After Cancer, and I hope this finds you well. This week's topic is all about how you can stay young while growing old. And that sounds quite a paradox, but it's what I'm all about really. And to me, the definition of success is growing old happily and healthily and living a joyous life. And that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm here to share, my experiences and experiences of people that I work with as well. And it's interesting. A couple of things have happened this week that have really brought this home to me. And the first thing was my mentor, Fiona Harold, posted on social media a post about how she was awaiting some results of a medical condition. Not even sure what the condition was. It's irrelevant really. But she was waiting for some test results and she rang up her doctor to get the results of this test. And she was really going into the details of they tested for this and they tested for that. And what do these results mean? And what is it all about? And is that okay? Is that an okay level that I'm at? And the doctor said something that really pushed Fiona's buttons. The doctor said, oh yeah, that's okay for a woman of your age. And Fiona Harold, if you know her, is a bit like myself. She's heavily invested in her own health and well-being. She doesn't just have her GP, general practitioner. She consults with a number of people like a nutritionist and a herbalist, and she does a lot of exercise and she does a lot of investing in her own health and happiness. So again, like me, so she can share it with other people. And Fiona really took exception to that phrase, for a woman of your age. And it was really, really interesting because Fiona doesn't want to be, you're okay for a woman of her age. She wants to live an optimum, healthy and happy life, as we all do. So that was really, really interesting because she doesn't accept that paradigm of, oh, you're getting to a certain age, therefore you will have. I remember somebody saying to somebody that I know, oh, when you get older, you're going to have arthritis because you've had such a thing. Is that really true? Okay, that's just food for, I'm not a doctor, but that's food for thought. The other thing that's come up this week, I've been speaking to somebody and they recommended a book to me. And I thought, yeah, I've read that book. I read it a couple of years ago, but I've read it again this week. And it's a little book. It's really lovely, easy to read book. And it's called Ikigai, if you've never heard of that. And what is that? That is the art of staying young while growing old. And it says on the front of this book, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life by Hector Garcia and Franks Morales. And they started off, the authors of this book, there was a group of authors, and they started off by looking at 5 blue zones. I don't know if you've heard of these blue zones before. And they are 5 areas around the world. They're not all, one of them's in Japan. I think there's one in Italy, there's one in California, different places, one in Greece, around the world where there is a very high number of people living to over 100, but living really, really healthily. Now, if you think about in the UK where I live, most people over 100, they're not really in good shape. Most of them, I would say, are in nursing homes. They've got at least one major health condition. But these people in these blue zones live very long and very happy and very healthy lives. And so the studies, the people that was doing this book, the people that wrote this book, were really interested in, well, what is it about their lifestyle? What is it? Is it the food that they eat? What is it? What's the secret to this longevity? But not just the longevity, the healthiness, the, living to over 100. And some of the people that they studied are still working. They're very fit and active and really interested in life. And so the consequence of that, so if you like, the summary of this is this thing called Ikigai, which is about finding your purpose. And as a coach, and I know for many years as well, I really struggled with finding what my purpose in life was all about. For some, many years I defined my purpose as the job that I did, but your purpose is much more than that. And so there's 10 recommendations in this book, so I'm going to share them with you and tell you how relevant I found them all, because I really agree with them all. So the first one is stay active, don't retire. And you might think, oh my goodness, I'm in a job and hate it and I can't wait to retire. Well, what does that tell you? Maybe you're in the wrong job. And this book is saying those who give up the things that they love doing and do well lose their purpose in life. And I've met many people who struggled with retirement because they adjust. It's a major adjustment in your life. A lot of changes, and it can be as well. You lose your social circle if you're friends with the people that you work with, and you lose all of that connection. What happens then? But once you know what your purpose is, and I'm going to come back to your Ikigai and how you find it, you don't need to retire. And it's like me with my coaching. I love coaching people. I've become a cancer recovery coach now, and it's not something I can ever imagine not doing. I might do less hours of it. I might not work as many hours as I get older, but that will be my choice. But actually, I love it, and it feeds my soul, and it's not like work, and it does energize me. So I can totally relate to that. And I can relate to the next one. Take it slow. Number 2 is take it slow. And I was guilty of this for many years, running around like a headless chicken, trying to do 3 things at once, probably not doing any of them very well. In book, it says, as the old saying goes, walk slowly and you'll go far. And that's so true. One step at a time, one foot in front of the other. And I work a lot with women in cancer recovery, and a lot of them get really frustrated because they are used to being dynamic, usually professional women who are, so busy with their lives and their home and managing, spinning a lot of plates. Cancer makes them slow down because they have to take time out, or their energy's gone, whatever reason. They find that really frustrating. But actually, when you step back and think about, okay, well, I'm trying to do too many things at once, but the question to ask then, are you trying to do things that you don't need to do? Is there anything you can let go of? Is there anything you can stop doing? Is there anything you can get somebody else to do? Do you need to hire a cleaner, for instance? If you're constantly thinking, my house needs to be immaculate and I'm not happy because I'm the only one cleaning the house, get a cleaner if you can afford it, So again, I'm not here to preach to anyone. I'm here to suggest that there are ways that you can take it slow, and you can learn to relax into that and actually enjoy doing less things sometimes. Number 3 is don't fill your stomach. Okay, so the studies in this book, a lot of were about diet, and I'm not going to here in this episode to give you dietary advice, but I know myself as a child, it was drummed into me, you clear your plate, you always sit down, there are starving children in Africa, you must eat everything that's put in front of you. And this book's suggesting, well, why don't you learn to listen to your body and stop eating when you've had enough? And for many of us that have struggled with the weight, including myself, that's a difficult thing to do. That is such a difficult thing to do. But if you become more mindful about the way that you eat, actually, it's such good health advice, because digestion, everything to do with your food, it takes energy, and it can put a toll on you if you're overeating. So the number 4 in this book is surround yourself with good friends. And I am smiling because I've just come back from a wonderful surprise party for some of my friends. And it was just great to connect with people, and smiley, happy people having a great time. And as we always do, we always say, oh, long time no see, we mustn't leave it so long. And so surrounding yourself with good friends is one of the best things that you can do for a long and happy life. And a lot of the people that I'm coaching, sometimes that connection with friends is really tested by a cancer diagnosis, for instance, and they may feel they've got dark thoughts or dark things that they want to say they don't feel comfortable saying to their friend. So as a coach, I'm not there just to be their friend. I am their biggest supporter, but I'm not there to hold the hand and tell them how horrible it is and, how unfair it is. That might be true. But as a coach, I'm there to get people through this and for them to be able to offload if that's what they need to do. But then we park it and we move on. We don't just talk about how awful it is. We talk about, well, how do we move forward from this? Number 5 is get in shape for your next birthday. And I love this because I've just had my birthday, so I've got nearly a year. But it's absolutely so true. And it's about moving your body. I sit at a laptop a lot. I work at a computer. I'm on the phone doing calls. It's very easy for me not to do any exercise. But I know if I want a long and happy, healthy life, and I want to live into a good old age without any major health conditions, exercise is non-negotiable. I've got to move. And it doesn't have to be, running a marathon. It can be a 10-minute walk every day. It can be gentle stretches. It can be gentle yoga, something that you love. Exercise should not be a punishment, which for many years it was to me. And I thought I have to go on a treadmill because I want to lose some weight. It's not about that. It's approaching your health and your exercise from a totally different aspect of, no, I'm doing something for me today that my future self will thank me for. I'll be so glad in a year's time that I did all this exercise, that I moved my body, that I did my stretches, and I've stayed active. Number 6 is smile. A cheerful attitude is not only relaxing, it also helps you to make friends. And again, it goes back to that connection with people. Sometimes you do have to put a smile on your face, even if you don't feel like smiling, but connecting with other people is so important. And we should always remember as well what a privilege it is to be in the here and now, in a world that's so full of possibilities. I'm talking to you now on the internet. What a time to be alive. Number 7 is reconnect with nature. That's always a good tip for, long life, for happiness, for just enjoying your life more. I've started now going to my local park. It's a good 15-minute if I walk. I try to do a little jog on the way there as well now. But I've just been in that lovely park with the big trees and the big wide open spaces of green. It really soothes my soul. It makes me feel so much better. And I get that same feeling when I look at water. I love being on a beach. I love being by a lake. But just reconnecting with nature reminds us we're not separate from the world around us. We are part of it. And again, thinking about that bigger picture. Number 8 is give thanks. And it's something I've talked before in my podcast about a gratitude journal or a gratitude practice every day, like saying your prayers at night, just getting in bed and remembering 10 things in that day that you're grateful for. It can be so little things. I'm grateful for a great cup of coffee. I'm grateful for that conversation I had with somebody. Whatever it is, just give thanks for that. Number 9 is live in the moment. And I've been so guilty of this in the past, worrying and regretting about the past, worrying about the future, about things that haven't even happened yet. But just taking that time out sometimes to take a breath, take a beat, and just live in the moment and enjoy the here and now, because that's all any of us are guaranteed, isn't it? So make it worth your while, make it worth remembering. And follow your Ikigai is number 12. Okay, so there is a passion inside of you, a unique talent that gives meaning to your days and drives you to share the best of yourself until the very end. And if you don't know what your Ikigai is yet, as Viktor Frankl says, your mission is to discover it. The authors of this book wish you a long, happy and purposeful life. And so do I. And Viktor Frankl, if you're not familiar with him, Viktor Frankl wrote a very famous book, best-selling book, Man's Search for Meaning. And he was a Holocaust survivor. He was in a concentration camp for quite some time, I believe. And he was interested in why did some people have a steely determination to survive the Holocaust, to survive the concentration camps. And as he did, he came out. And he believed it was because he had a purpose. He had a reason to get out. And that was the love of his family that kept him going. And I find that quite often with cancer patients as well, when they're going through tough times, to have that. It doesn't always have to be your family. It can be something else. But having that purpose, there's a reason for you to get better. There's a reason for you to finish your treatment. There's a reason for you to invest in your health. Finding your Ikigai can help you do that. So on the back of this book, there are 4 interlocking circles, and there's 4 questions that might take some pondering. You might have to go away and think about this. So I'm going to read these out twice. The questions are, number 1, what is it that you do that you love? Number 2, what is it that you do that you are good at? Number 3, what is it you do that the world needs? And number 4, what can you be paid for? And so ideally, if you were thinking about your career or thinking about your life in general, the sweet spot is where all four of those interlocking circles, if you like, meet in the middle. So if you're doing something every day that you love, so the first question was, what is it that you do that you love? Number 2, what is it that you're good at? Number 3, what is it that the world needs? And number 4, what is it you do that you can be paid for? And the sweet spot is if you want to have a career or a purpose in life, if you've got the sweet spot in the middle where all of those 4 things collide, how special is that? And it is for me. And really perversely, my cancer diagnosis gave me that. I'd been a coach and I'd been a leader at work and I'd been a transformation specialist for many years, really in business. But I always enjoyed leading a team, and I enjoyed motivating and coaching my team, usually for business outcomes. But I really always had an interest in personal development as well. So for me, doing what I love what I'm good at, and I'm constantly investing in myself and constantly learning and constantly getting better. What the world needs as a cancer recovery specialist, unfortunately, so many people with cancer, but also so many people that are crying out for help at the end of cancer treatment, because the medics are great at getting you through, getting rid of your cancer. That's great. That's what they're there for. But then they're not here at the end of your treatment to say, and this is how you move into the next phase of your life. This is the support that you need. This is the things that you can do. And that's what I'm here to do. And lastly, what you can get paid for. And I do get paid now for coaching people. It's work that I love. It's more than a job to me. It's a passion of mine. I connect really closely with my clients that I'm coaching. They tell me some really personal information, obviously in confidence. And it is a privilege for me to be able to help people like that. I don't give anybody a list of do's and don'ts. I work with them to find out what works for them. And it is a real privilege. So as always, thank you so much for listening. I really recommend this book. I'll put a link somewhere around the podcast so you can find out about Ikigai. If you've not read the book, I'd highly recommend it. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I would urge you to stay safe and stay sane. Get in touch with me if I can help you with anything. Take care, my lovely. Bye-bye.